Eicher Motors. We are on the monthly time frame. Now I have intentionally chosen the chart of Eicher Motors because this market represents a very trending market. So on a trending market, it is always very difficult to draw supports and resistances. Let us try. So the first thing, let us identify the support. The lowest point is always a support. Let me draw a line. The highest point, the swing high. Now the swing high is a zone. It is a good zone, so let us draw a rectangle. Let me change the color to pink. The settings are right. Let me save this template. Are we seeing any other areas? I am seeing one area, not quite as good, but still an area worth noting. Let me draw a line here. Instead, let me draw a rectangle here because it cannot be represented by a line. We have this area acting as a resistance here and a support here, so a pretty good area. Any other area? No, I do not see any other area. Now let us zoom out the chart a little bit. Now you can clearly see the power of technical analysis. The area which we have identified right now as a support had already acted as support in 2015. Can we see any other areas? Yes, now we see one more good area, that is here. Let me draw a line. There are two rejections here, and there are couple of rejections here too. Again, it gave a little bounce when the price reached this area. It acted as a support and price bounced a little. So this area is also of good significance. We are done with the monthly analysis. Now let us jump to the weekly. In the weekly chart, we will try to polish the areas which we have identified from the monthly. Let us see, can we do anything? Let us come to this area first. To polish these areas, I would need to zoom out the chart a little bit. Now here I see that these three rejections are nicely covered, but the area is failing to cover this rejection. So can we shift this a little down? If we are shifting it down, then these rejections are getting missed. Now pay attention to what I am saying. We are here to polish the charts, not to make them more dirty. In this case, if I want to cover all these rejections, I will need to broaden this line. But as I said, we will not make the charts more dirty. So what I will do is, I will delete this line. I will delete this rectangle. And I will make a line, horizontal line, at this area. Alt plus H. Now what I am saying is, this area is pretty strong area. It has acted as a resistance here, a support here, once again a support here. There are multiple rejections, a support here. So this area is a strong area, needless to say. And now I even want to cover this rejection. In this case, I can even draw a line here. Why? Because this area too is important, because there is a rejection here and I am seeing a good rejection here too. So there are two rejections to support this area. So this area is important in itself, but not quite as strong as the previous area. This is how I polished it, and this is how you will do it after you experience it yourself. Now coming to this resistance, can we do anything about it? Not quite much. It is getting covered here also nicely. The wicks are rejecting and it's covered here also, and this area is not in sync. This area is a little higher and this is a little lower, so this rectangle will be needed. We cannot polish this further. Now coming to the weekly, can you spot any other area in the weekly itself? Yes, this area seems good. Let us draw a line. Let me change the template, double click to weekly. Since this is a weekly time frame, hit OK. So there are two rejections, the first rejection here and the second rejection here. As you see, when the price hit this area, immediately there was this big red candle. It means that the price fell sharply and immediately, and once again price is approaching this area, but the candles are not much convincing. Neither they are bullish nor bearish. We need to see where the price goes and how the price reacts at this zone. So we are done with the things on the weekly. Now let us move to the daily charts. Now on the daily chart, I do not see any scope of polishing the weekly area. It is already good. I cannot lower it, nor I can raise it, so let us keep it the way it was. Can we see any other area of resistance or support on the daily? I am seeing a weak area here. Let me draw a line. Now this area had acted as a resistance here, but the reaction was of very little magnitude. When the price hit this, there were just two red bars and nothing more. Now here, when the price hit this, there was this little reaction, but the area is not quite as strong. But yet we have drawn this because we are not getting any other areas, so the only choice left for us is to draw this area. Let us now jump to the 75 minutes time frame. You can go to the 60 minutes on your trading view. Now we are on the 75 minutes. Let us see if we can identify any areas. There is this area, but I can see just one rejection, nothing much. Let us see if we can polish the daily area. Seems pretty nice. Nothing much. Everything seems good. Let me zoom out a bit if we can see anything else. Now as I am zooming it out, I can see something interesting. Now I am seeing a good area, a dynamic area, which has acted as a support and a resistance. Somewhere here. Let me draw a line. Let me change the template to the 75 minutes. There is no template. Let me create one. It will be a dark green color. We'll change the visibility settings. We will remove the days. We'll save the template. Save as 75 minutes. Now this area has acted as a resistance once, twice, third time, fourth time, fifth time. We see the wick sticking out here. Clear rejection of the area. Again there are some rejections here. Once again there is a feeble rejection here, and finally this rejection here. Pretty strong area, very strong area. This is on the 75 minutes time frame. It is very interesting to note that such an area is being identified on the 75 minutes time frame. One more area, an area of support at this point. Let me draw a line. There are many rejections, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6. There are 6 rejections of this area, but the rejections are somewhat old. But anyways, the area holds good. We will keep this and track this area. when the price arrives at this area. Now, an interesting part, something very subjective, differs from person to person. Now, what I would like to do in this situation is, I will raise this line a little higher, like this. I see that this wick is sticking out, and I also see that this wick is sticking out. Now, these wicks which are sticking out are in isolation. I mean, they are clearly visible when you look at the chart, that these two wicks are somewhat weird, this wick and this wick. So what I did is raised the weekly line a little higher to just touch the body of this green candle so that the wick stick out of the line. And for this area, what I will do is I will draw another horizontal line. Let me change the color to blue, because originally this area is coming from the weekly time frame, right? So now this area, let me zoom it in. So now this area is being covered with this line. Now the good part is that I can also see few rejections here. So what I will now do is lower this line a little bit, like this. See, now this is very subjective. It differs from person to person. You may like to do such things, or you may not like to do such things. But I prefer this, and I always give more weightage to the recent rejections, that is this, rather than the older rejection. So what I did was shift this line a little lower. Now since this is a weekly level, so I will maintain the blue color because it was originally identified from the weekly chart. Now this sits perfectly for me. So I have identified two levels, one this and the other one this. Now you should note that we are working on the 75 minutes time frame, and we polished a weekly area from the 75 minutes time frame. Ideally we should not do such things. Ideally we should use just the daily chart to polish the weekly area, but since I could see these wicks, these two weird wicks which were somewhere near the weekly area, I decided to polish this and make these two lines. Now again, this is totally subjective. You can skip it or you can do it, but this is my approach. I like to give more weightage to the recent rejections, so I decided to make a new line to create this one. Now let us go to the 15 minutes time frame and see what is there. On the 15 minutes, we will try to polish the 75 minutes areas. First we will look at this area. We can raise this area a little bit to touch the bodies, the low of the bodies. Can we see any other area in the 15 minutes time frame? Nothing much. There are no good areas, so we'll do nothing. We'll just skip it and now move on to the 5 minutes chart. In the 5 minutes chart, we will try to polish the 15 minutes area, but there are no 15 minutes area which we had drawn, so nothing to polish. Let us see if there are any new areas. Nothing interesting. This is a minor area. Let me draw a line. Since this is a 5 minute chart, we will select the 5 minutes template, the light green color. This is a weak area, nothing strong, but still we just drew it. We'll have a look when the price hits this area. Does it bounce back or does it break it? We need to see. But as of now, the price has broken out of this area with a big candle. It is a sign of bullishness. Let us see if there are any supports. Nothing. So this can act as a support right now, but we need to see how it acts because this is a weak support. So now we are done right from the monthly time frame all the way to the 5 minutes time frame. हमने support and resistance को अच्छी तरह से देख लिया है. Now let us jump to the weekly. Now I am seeing that when the price hit this area of resistance, there was a big red candle immediately, and now again the price is moving a little higher, but with weak candles. The candlestick patterns are not good. As you can see, there are longer wicks and smaller bodies, signs of weakness. But anyways, we will not take a call solely on the basis of the weekly chart. We need to look at multiple time frames to take a call and to take a trade. We will watch this chart in the future. What happens, we will observe carefully. So in this example, I hope many of the concepts are clear. I intentionally chose this chart because it was a tough chart. There are many new things which we learned. We will take one more example in my next video. Till then, thanks for watching and goodbye.